So let's make a fantastic banana bread recipe. Obviously, you let your bananas sit a little bit too long, you don't want to throw them out. Well, this is a perfect way to reduce your food waste and make a delicious treat pretty much any time. This specific recipe, there's a little trick at the end that we're going to do to make it extremely moist and delicious. So what we're going to need for this delicious banana bread recipe is 1 whole cup of butter, or 2 sticks of butter. We're going to do 2 cups of granulated sugar. We are going to do 4 beaten eggs. We are going to use 8 crushed bananas. I had 9, so 9 goes into the bowl. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of our baking soda. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of salt. We're going to do 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We're going to do 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We are going to use a whole teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half of the pumpkin spice seasoning. I'll maybe put a tag to it up at the top. And then finally we're going to use a whole cup of chopped walnuts. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cream the butter and the sugar together. We're going to add in our vanilla, we're going to add in our eggs, and we're going to crush these bananas up, add everything to the bowl, combine the wet ingredients first, and then we're going to add the rest of our dry ingredients. And at the end, what we're going to do is make a maple syrup glaze for the top, which is just a little bit of powdered sugar and a little bit of maple syrup. So let's get mixing. So we've creamed together the butter and the sugar. I added the bananas in, I mixed those up really well. I added 4 of 8 eggs, the teaspoon of vanilla, and then I added 1.5 teaspoons of our pumpkin spice mix. So let's give this another mix. Okay, so for the dry ingredients, we have our 3 cups of flour. We have a heaping cup of chopped walnuts. We have our 2 tablespoons of baking soda, and then we have our teaspoon of salt. So we'll go ahead and give this another mix, and then we will pour them into a couple greased baking dishes here, and we'll pop them in the oven at 350 for an hour, or until a toothpick comes out of the center dry. So we have our mixed batter into our greased dishes, and an important thing is to make them relatively even. That way they can bake together at the same rate. So we'll pop these in a 350 degree oven for about an hour, or until a toothpick stuck into the center or a butter knife or whatever is dry. Alright, so it's been an hour and 10 minutes, and I stuck a butter knife right through here, and these are looking great, and they are smelling even better. Oh man, the whole place just smells fantastic. I'm gonna wait till these cool down a little bit. I'm actually gonna pop them in a gallon-sized baggie, and I'm gonna put them in the freezer. So what I like to do with banana bread is I like to freeze it and then bring it back to room temperature and thaw it. And that, I don't know what that does. It just tastes a heck of a lot moister than, you know, just fresh. So I am going to freeze that, bring it back to room temperature, and then I am going to make the pumpkin spice maple glaze. I figured I would make a maple glaze for it, and then I'll just add a teaspoon of the pumpkin spice seasoning. Love cinnamon, love nutmeg, love allspice. The ginger's great in there too, so that's going to be a perfect topping for these amazing loaves of banana bread. So for the banana bread glaze, what we're going to need is powdered sugar, some maple syrup, a little bit of milk, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some pumpkin spice because it's mostly cinnamon anyway, and just imparts a really great flavor into anything it goes into. So for this, we're going to also need an array of measuring cups and spoons as well, a bowl to put it all in, then we'll mix it up, and then a spoon for mixing and drizzling. So what we're going to do is we'll do 1 cup of the powdered sugar, we'll do a tablespoon of the maple syrup, we're going to do 1.5 tablespoons, I'm going to start with 1, then possibly another, of this milk, and that's just to kind of thin everything out. And then I'm going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of the pumpkin spice seasoning. Oh, and a pinch of salt as well, just to make that flavor kind of pop. So what we'll do is we'll put all those ingredients into this bowl, we'll mix it up real well, we'll drizzle it all over our fantastic banana bread, and then we will give it a all-around taste test. So we're gonna make a quick audible here. I just kind of realized how much sugar a cup is. We only have this one loaf here. I already gave away the other loaf, tasted it beforehand as well. It's fantastic. I'm gonna use maybe a third of a cup instead, just because I don't really have much use for this glaze, and we will just be putting it on this one loaf. So for one loaf, I'm gonna use a third of a cup of powdered sugar. Everything else we will keep on measurement, I guess. We'll do a tablespoon of the maple syrup, a tablespoon of the milk, half a teaspoon of the pumpkin spice, and it'll all go into this bowl. Alright, so we have our amazing glaze, and this tastes so good. You really taste the pumpkin spice in here. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna kind of let it drizzle all over the place, kind of cover the surface with it. And I don't like too sweet things, so this is just going to be the right amount for me, for my taste. Again, you know, at the end of the day, this is your banana bread. If you want to use that cup of sugar, go ahead. Spread it out around the top. Ooh, that's looking good. So that is going to be perfect. Now let's get a nice drizzle shot. And that should be just about perfect. So it looks great. And it tastes even better. So we're going to wait till that kind of hardens up a little bit. And then we will give it a final taste test.